Alright, we are starting the recording now.
Okay.
So this is going to be Jonathan's Prelude.
Let me just get my character sheet, actually. I believe you sent it to me on Skype, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So it's in whatever the hell folder Skype puts things in.
I'm just going to re-download it.
So yeah, this is Jonathan's Prelude. By this time, you guys are probably familiar with the basics of what we do here watching the video. We started streaming our Vampire the Masquerade games every Sunday, and you guys are welcome to join in on the next game. And this is a recording of a character creator. And so we'll start introducing who's here. I'm Zach. Once again, I'm doing storytelling. On color commentary, we have Mary.
Hello.
David.
There we are.
And Stallworth.
Hey.
Alright. And there aren't the audio issues from before, so Stallworth will actually be here giving his hilarious commentary on everything that happens.
Nice.
Oh, you're so humble, Stallworth.
Stallworth can criticize Miles's way with women.
Zach, our friend.
I hope you mean my characters.
Oh, is it fun? Is our friend from last time here?
And Zach's audio is low once again.
Ah,
Is
Zach, you're...
my chat? My chat isn't showing up anything.
He's
Oh,
on
I
my
got
chat.
that.
Really?
I see it. Yeah.
Because I've been watching to see if anyone shows up, but let's see.
I don't know, you got something weird going on, man.
Yeah, I don't know. That's odd. Let me refresh, see if that helps.
Yeah. I should probably introduce myself as well. I'm Miles. I'll be the player this session. Player of Jonathan. I also run a few stories of my own, notably one set in Arturian times right now. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, that's probably what
Why
we're
don't you
going
tell
to
us
be
a bit
streaming
about Jonathan?
for a little while at least.
Alright, I got the character sheet.
Alright. So, I don't know if chat is still not working. No one's typed anything. I don't know if Miles or David wants to type something in just to see if it pops
Well,
up.
I just signed in, and then
No, he's there. I can see him.
it closed itself.
Yeah, chat does this. If you come in, it comes in wherever you reload it, so I don't know if you want to just post like a letter or something and see if I get it.
I can post something. There you go. You get it?
No, that's weird. The chat is not...
How do you not have chat?
There we go. It said, welcome to the chat. Try it again.
Okay.
There we go. Now it works.
There.
The chat was open,
Beautiful.
but it didn't do anything. Then I clicked it to the side and then clicked it back in and it said, welcome to the chat room, and now it works. So,
Okay.
God knows. God knows.
Okay, so there. I don't know if that helps you.
Alright. No, we're online now. There we go. Alright. See, we were up to 6 viewers for a second while. They heard that I was coming on now. And now we're putting them in the seat.
And they all just came. Yeah, right. Sure.
Alright.
So have you adjusted your microphone?
Yes. Let me do that. Still...
He's saying it's just to audiences, so it's in the broadcasting software's end.
Alright.
Because we're all
No,
Discordish.
that's the wrong one. Need to up the speakers. Alright. I hope it didn't reset itself, because that would be really annoying. Alright.
You didn't go get a new microphone.
Not
last
yet,
week.
no.
Yeah.
Oh, I googled Gary, Indiana, and the suggestion was Gary, Indiana, worst city.
It is. Yeah.
I'm telling you guys, we have a lot of work to do, but we're going to revitalize it.
Well, I mean, what better than a blank canvas, am I right?
Yes. So,
I say this ain't blank. Someone shit on this canvas.
So how are my audio levels now? Better? Worse?
We'll find out in a second.
Yeah, it takes a while for the stream to come through.
Oh,
You're still much. You're still quieter than
I'll set it
my.
up like as high as I can then, and that's just like it physically will not. The computer will not let me go higher than this.
but
Gary, the Steel City, Indiana.
We are at max power now, guys.
Whoa.
Oh, buffering, lovely.
I'm doing it OBS. I actually have it all the way maxed out on full, so I'm adjusting it now on Windows, on like the properties for the device.
down on Discord. It's that louder.
It's OBS. I actually have it all maxed out. All right. So there we go. We have it set to the max.
There we
And,
go.
yeah.
Alright, you're clear now, he says.
Okay,
Alright.
Perfect.
so let's get started. So why don't you introduce Jonathan for us? Oh, by the way, that was all on the recording again, goddammit. I'm gonna cut that part out.
Yeah.
Because that was
Wonderful.
boring as hell. Welcome to this
Prepared
YouTube
for the
video.
edit.
Sit around for about 10 minutes, alright?
Well, Zach's reading my book.
Hey man, that's appropriate to what we're experiencing when we start the sessions.
Yeah, it's true.
It's the real
You're
situation.
not really watching one of our streams until you hear us talk about Godfrey Ho for a few hours.
True.
Alright, so why don't you introduce Jonathan?
Alright then. Jonathan Weiss is a Toreador artist, more specifically an author. That's about it.
What is-
He's not a particularly well-crafted character, as he is my first character ever.
Okay.
He, his most striking feature is that he speaks like 4 languages.
Well,
I never use
okay,
one
I
of
would
them.
say it's most striking good feature. Most striking feature overall is, just to be clear, what is your strength plus athletics?
I can count it on one finger.
There we go.
I would have said his most striking feature was that he was a fuck up in general.
Oh yeah, I totally am.
But he's got a whole
Somehow have 4 intelligence and 3
But
academics.
this is the remake, so
Yeah,
you have a
3 minutes.
new vision for
and
Jonathan
take
this
him in a
time,
new
right?
direction.
Alright,
I got to remake him.
so, we are opening, so up until this point, you have not been in Gary, Indiana itself. You were actually embraced elsewhere. And you were, you've been basically embraced for several years now at this point. But you have just arrived in town. You've been traveling with your sire, Lucy Alistair.
Yeah.
Getting a little bit of interference on the line. I think it might be coming from Stallworth.
Yeah, I think so too.
Well, I'll just can I make myself not as loud?
Let's see.
It sounds good now, I think.
I think it's mostly when you talk. Can you put yourself on, like, push to talk or whatever, so...
I just put it on mute.
Alright. If you have something to say, feel free to, you know,
Jump on in.
jump in.
Will do.
Alright.
All right.
So
You know,
you've
Star
been,
Wars are top.
you've been traveling with your sire, Lucy Alistair. You've been kind of struggling. You've been trying to write some books since your embrace, but you've just really been struggling with them. You haven't been making a lot of progress. In the kind of decade since you've been embraced, you did release one book, but it was not really acclaimed at all, basically. The critics have been saying that you're past it, that you don't have what it takes anymore.
Huh.
And you've been working on the last one for a long time. Like a George R.R. Martin amount of time, basically. It's been years. And
All right.
you're not really making a lot of progress. So your
He's
sire...
depressed, so he moves to Gary.
Your sire... what a great decision. Your sire basically told you to move, just to kind of try and get a new perspective on things. That's kind of how she put it. The reason she chose Gary is because she says that she actually has a friend who lives there, who is a child of the prince of the city, and you guys can basically stay with her for a while.
Very well then. Do I know about Gary and its reputation?
Why don't you give me, what is your intelligence plus, either politics or finances, actually. Whichever is higher for you.
That's a 7.
Okay.
Wow.
Is this in the first time you have ever used finances?
I believe I used it exactly one time before all this.
Nice.
Yeah, so you have heard of it. It is basically just a real shithole. It's like not quite as bad as Detroit by some standards, but it's on that level basically, and for a lot of the same reasons. The manufacturing jobs fled the area, and it is just an urban wasteland now for the most part.
All right then.
What kind of genre of books do you actually write?
Like horror, I think. Sci-fi horror. Or fantasy horror.
Alright, so this will be, I guess, sort of, it is a horrifying city to live in, so...
It'll provide good experience.
You'll take a look at the property values, and no
Yo.
Alright. So you arrive there by train, and basically your first look at the city, it doesn't look good. You were kind of prepared for, a lot of abandoned buildings and things, but this looks kind of worse than usual. You also start to feel, I'm not going to say that Jonathan is super racist, but you do feel a little uncomfortable because you're noticing that you and your sire are kind of the only white people in the area as you're walking off of the train platform.
All right. Do we get a lot of stares at us?
A couple, yeah. You seem... yeah.
Right, then I'm going to assume I'm smart enough to know why that is. I'm not going to assume it's because I'm just beautiful.
I am a hot man, so...
Yeah, but I'm assuming it's not because of that.
Yeah, you're socially aware enough to figure out what's going on. So you do see one other white person there at the train platform, and she runs up to greet you. It is a very attractive young woman who immediately runs up to your sire and embraces her, and, they kiss on the cheek, greet each other, and then the woman turns to you and says, so this must be your child, Jonathan. I've heard a great deal about you, and she kind of offers her hand for you to kiss.
Right then, I do so. A pleasure to make your acquaintance, miss.
Alright, she says, my name is Alicia, and I'm the one who you guys are coming here to meet.
I suddenly feel very agitated.
Very aroused.
No. I can assure you it's something else. No.
So she says, I will take you to my sire now, and then we can get you settled in.
Much obliged. Thank you.
So she's got a car already waiting, although...
I thought you were going to say already jacked.
No, although she and Lucy both get into the back seat. So it seems like you're the one who's being put upon to drive.
I think my sire would be aware that I have no drive.
Don't you have 1 point in drive?
Not on this sheet.
Alright.
Well, that was later on. I think I added that later on.
Oh, okay.
I think I added that specifically because you said it was weird that I had a point of firearms but not drive.
It is weird, yeah. So, in that case,
Should we just say that I had a point of drive but no firearms instead for now?
yeah, sure. If you would like
Okay,
that
yeah.
alteration, I will allow it.
Okay, let's go with that then.
All right. So you get in the car.
Yeah, my roll is 4.
All right. Well, don't worry, you're not already in a car chase. I'm not going to require a roll just to drive down the road.
Okay, good. Just making sure.
All right. So yeah, you get in. She gives you directions basically to the area where her sire is. It is there are like mansions in the area, which presumably, based on your knowledge of the city heading in, you're pretty sure that they used to belong to like the steel barons that built the city in the first place. But they're all like decrepit and decaying now.
All right.
So she directs you towards one of them, and you guys park there. And there are some servants around, but when they see like Alicia is with you, they just basically ignore you. They let you walk straight past.
All right.
She leads you into the main kind of sitting room where a erudite-looking older man is waiting, presumably her sire. And so she walks up, gives him a kiss on the cheek, and kind of takes a seat next to him. And he looks over at the two of you and says, "Ah, you must be the new members of our clan that have arrived in the city."
Then I bow to him. A pleasure to make your acquaintance, sir. I am Jonathan Weiss.
And your sire also kind of curtsies, and she says, "I am Lucy Allister." He says, yes, I thank you for coming here to present yourselves to me. I know that my child already is familiar with you, so we don't need to go through all of the formalities of declaring your knowledge of the traditions and such. You are welcome to hunt and reside within my city for as long as you desire.
Much appreciated.
Alright. So, he nods and says, yes. Very well. I will not keep you from your new haven, which I understand my child has arranged for you.
Then I bow to him courteously and thank him once more.
Alright. So, Alicia stands up and leads you guys back out. She says, "See?
Wonderful.
Wasn't that painless?"
Of course.
Alright. So, they both get into the back seat again and start giving you directions to your new haven.
All right then.
So why don't you give me a perception plus empathy as well?
You motherfucker. It's 4.
Uh-oh.
That's something you're going to have to increase once you get Auspex.
I knew you were going to bring that up.
So you're not necessarily an expert on emotions yet, but as you're kind of looking back in the rearview mirror, back at the two ladies in the back, they seem to be like very friendly with one another.
Oh.
They're like kind of chatting and whispering to each other, and they seem possibly a little bit more friendly than just friends.
Haha. Right then, well I shall not interrupt them. I was wondering why they made me drive, but that makes a bit more sense now.
I will just creepily watch them through the mirror.
I will not do that. I don't have the perception to do that without being discovered.
Alright. So yeah, they direct you to the house that you will be using, and it's going to take a while for it to appear on the stream, but I do have some images for it. I've got both some pictures that I thought were appropriate, and also, you'll be glad to see this again, I found the original floor plan that you made up for this haven.
Oh no! No! Oh no, you know how bad my handwriting is.
Actually, there's no handwriting on this.
Well, you know how bad my drawing abilities are.
Yeah, it is.
Did I draw this in paint or did I just draw it in hand?
I think it's on paint.
Yeah, that's paint.
All right.
Nice.
So you
Does
guys
the
arrive.
paint make it better or worse?
It made it better, trust me.
That's not that bad.
Yeah.
I was expecting a lot worse when you said it like that.
All right. So, yeah, it's on the lakeside. It's a kind of a suburban house, and it's basically in eastern Chicago. It's on the very edge of the territory that Modius claims.
All right. I'm assuming he did introduce himself as Modius.
No, but you were told what his name was.
Okay.
All right. So as you guys are kind of heading a little bit out of the main drag of the city, you also notice that Lucy starts to get kind of nervous. And she's like, it's a little odd to be this far out. There aren't any lupines in the area, right? And Alicia just kind of laughs and shakes her head and says, I've never seen one, and in fact, I don't even really believe that werewolves exist.
Uh-huh.
And,
Well.
and both of them kind of nervously titter in laughter.
Yeah.
So you pull up in the driveway in your new and very secure haven.
Yeah.
And, yeah. So they immediately open the door of the car, they kind of rush in. You notice that they do leave you with all of the bags.
Okay, that's gonna take a while with my wondrous one strength.
Right, so I'm gonna need a roll of strength plus athletics. How much?
No, you're not. I refuse to fuck up my first roll. That was my first roll.
No, your first roll was the finances.
Yeah, I knew it was going to come in useful eventually.
So you spend a willpower point on the strength plus athletics.
And I move one bag.
You spend half your blood points boosting your stats.
Yeah, exactly. I boost my blood to 5. Alright.
Well,
So yeah, as soon as you bring in the bags, you notice they're already, making themselves comfortable. And you notice that there is also, a guest bedroom, but it seems to have already been made up. And when you come in with, the last of the bags, not quite huffing and puffing since you don't breathe anymore, but, if you were mortal, you would be breathing heavily.
yeah.
He could be sweating blood right now, right?
Right, yeah, as you are damp with red vitae just all over you. Don't worry, guys, I got the bags, it's fine.
You should probably lose 1 point of blood from the perspiration.
Probably more like 6 or 7. Yeah, as you get in, they come up to you and Lucy says, I've got wonderful news. Alicia is actually going to be staying with us for a little while.
Ah, I see. What a pleasant surprise.
Alicia kind of laughs and she kind of winks at you and says, yes, it'll give us all a chance to get to know one another better.
I look forward to the opportunity.
Alright. So yeah, you guys have a chance to basically, settle in. And for the rest of the night, just kind of relax, chill out. Is there anything in particular you want to do to relax and settle in, or?
Which bedroom will be mine?
You get the master bedroom, which you are sharing with Lucy, and Alicia is staying in the guest bedroom.
All right then. Well, I'll set up a table that I can prepare to write on, I assume, my typewriter.
Alright. Yeah, so you put down your very classy hipster typewriter is right next to your very classy hipster fedora. And very classy hipster trench coat.
Oh god, don't remind me of my former shame.
It's
Always.
It's not former anymore, it's now your current shame.
I was like, well, how old was I when I made this? 13, 14?
Yeah, I think so.
I was 15, so...
Yeah, I think we're the same year, so...
Yeah.
I think, yeah. Oh man, it's been 6 years. Holy shit!
Yeah, so you guys settle in.
6 years since I thought trench coats and fedoras were cool.
So you settle in, and after, basically it's getting near dawn, so you guys settle into bed.
Yeah.
And as you're, about to fall asleep, you hear the door to the room being opened up.
And then I peek over and I assume it's Alicia.
Yep, she's in, and she kind of sidles into bed next to your sire. And they don't really take any notice of you, but then you kind of start to hear something, like from right next to you.
All right. I can imagine what that might be.
Yeah, so they are starting to get fairly hot and heavy, while you are presumably just trying to relax and go to bed.
Yeah.
They start, it starts out with just, a little bit of, making out, but then, they start to get undressed, and then, as you're... I don't know, I'm just kind of presuming, are you trying to ignore this, or
join in?
are you
No.
trying to wheedle your way in?
I'll try to make some discreet noise to make them aware that I might not be fully asleep.
Ahem.
Not that.
I think you should just stay quiet.
Like a yawn or a stretch, maybe.
Just, here, awake.
Could you please take this to another room?
And then you definitely smell something that you recognize immediately. There is open vitae in the room with you.
Oh boy.
And there's really no way you can't, obviously, look over at that, and you can see your sire and Alicia seem to be sharing blood with one another.
Huh.
And so at this point, I am going to require a self-control roll.
Alright then, that's a 5.
Alright.
That's maxed, thankfully. At the cost of only having 2 courage, mind you, but still.
Alright, nice. So you definitely feel a strong urge to involve yourself, but you are able to restrain yourself. So you don't have to, get involved if you don't want to.
I don't want to.
All right. So yeah, they don't really notice you too much, but they keep going like that for a while until basically just before dawn. And
How on earth do they plan to get any sleep like this?
And when you wake up the next evening, you find that Alicia is still in bed with you.
Huh. I assume my sire is as well. I'm the first to awaken.
Yes.
But that makes sense, since I'm the one who slept the most.
You've also you've also got what? Humanity 8, right?
I think it's 8, yeah. Yeah, it's 8.
Yep. So yeah, you definitely wake up first.
Right then. Yeah, I awaken and I will discreetly leave the bed without wakening them.
All right.
Not waking them, rather.
Okay. So, yeah, you go downstairs, and after a little while, they come downstairs, and they're like, it's really uncomfortable for you. They keep making, bedroom eyes at one another, and it's, and you're just the guy who is also there.
Yeah, I'll still courteously say, well, good evening.
Alright. Yeah, so, they both...
odd happens? No.
they just both kind of giggle, and they say, did you sleep well last night? Or yesterday?
I slept a bit, correct?
So, as you were, just kind of hanging out, getting used to the new house, Lucy says, "Oh, Jonathan, we were just talking. in the room earlier, and Alicia thought it might be fun if we all went out feeding together.
I suppose that could work, yes. I have no objection to that.
All right. And they basically start to get dressed.
And then, do you have a specific location in mind?
Alicia says, "Yes, I'll guide you there."
Wonderful. And I'll get dressed too.
All right.
And I'll leave my fedora behind.
They're getting dressed up in kind of like, she doesn't say where they're going, but they're getting dressed up in kind of like clubbing attire, basically.
Okay, yeah, I will do the same then. I assume I have that.
Yeah, with like appearance. What's your appearance?
5.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, I assume you have the wardrobe to fit most circumstances.
Unlike before, I won't just be wearing my fucking fedora and trench coat everywhere.
Yeah, much like armor imposes dexterity penalties, the fedora will impose an appearance penalty of 5.
Also an intelligence penalty.
All right.
Right.
So
Off we go.
the secret that Jonathan tells no one is that he actually was embraced with a neckbeard, and he has to shave it every
No.
single night.
No, don't change my character. Stop that.
All right.
Yes.
No.
So you guys head out for the evening, and
Right.
You head into kind of the main strip of Gary, and as you're driving around, you notice it's mostly like strip clubs here, primarily. Although there is one sort of more night dance clubby sort of place, which is...
Which is?
Club Purgatory.
Uh-huh.
So, you guys arrive, and Alicia just kind of... she and there doesn't seem to be... There's not a lot of parking spaces around. Just like parking lots, it's kind of abandoned streets for the most part, but there's nothing right... Because there's no parking lot, there's nothing right outside the road for the club. It seems to be the most happening place in the city, which still doesn't mean much, but...
Right,
So
I
Alicia
getcha.
and Lucy hop out, like, right next door, and they're like, you know, alright, you find a parking spot and we'll be inside.
Alright then. So I begin looking for a parking spot.
Alright, yeah, it doesn't take you too long. You're a couple of blocks away.
Alright. Then I head to the dance floor. Or head to the purgatory, rather. Not the dance floor.
Alright.
I don't think I have the stats to dance.
So,
No, but I have 4.
alright, that's not bad. So, yeah, you arrive at the door, and they kind of look at you, and they nod you through. And inside, the map should be up for you by now.
It is.
Yeah, so you find Lucy and Alicia are over by the kind of the main bar, and they're watching the dance floor.
Right then, I shall join them.
Alright. So when you arrive, they're already kind of picking out kind of someone that they think, you know, who they think is attractive. There are... you notice that most of the people that they're kind of pointing out for your guys' potential vessels for the evening do all seem to be attractive young men.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you want to object to that or not.
I don't mind.
Alright.
I'd like to point out some of my own as well, which are female, but I don't object to the men.
Alright. So, yeah, after a little while, they kind of decide on one of the young fellows, and they say, you know, you might make him uncomfortable. We'll handle this. Why don't
So
you...
implying I should wait here or get one of my own.
Basically, implying that you should wait here for just a little while.
Okay.
So the two of them kind of go over and talk to him for a little while, and he seems a little bit dazed, possibly from drinking, but also from the two...
Presents.
Yeah, the two attractive female vampires that are all over him. And they lead him off to one of the bathrooms, and Lucy kind of stays behind just a little bit and motions for you to follow as well.
All right, I do so.
So this guy's about to get like the rudest surprise you could possibly get in a club. And two
Oh.
hot women bring you into one of the bathrooms, and then
And then
hello.
man joins them.
All right.
Hey there, sexy.
So
We're gonna have some fun.
when you enter in, he looks like he's been basically dominated once you guys are in the bathroom itself, and it is it's a public bathroom, but it's not like a bathroom with like multiple stalls or anything like that. Like there's a locking door on it. And as soon as you're inside, Lucy locks the door, and they each start feeding from him.
Right then, I'll ask them, is one person truly going to be enough for all three of us?
Don't take very much, just take a little.
All right then, I'll take one blood pint when it's my turn.
Alright. Yeah. So, since it's a prelude, I'm not really keeping track of blood, but you take basically, about a blood point's worth. Just a little bit.
Just a tiny bit to make sure he's okay.
Yeah. So, once you're finished, Lucy basically takes you outside, says that Alicia will handle him from here.
Very well.
And you guys can start, looking for someone else, if you like.
Well, I'll ask her, does anyone strike your fancy?
She kind of, puts a hand on your shoulder and says, you were so nice before, you can pick the next one.
Much appreciated then. And I'll look over the crowd. Do I see anyone in particular?
Yeah, you see some young women that kind of take your fancy.
Right then, anyone there by themselves?
Yes.
This went from a beta simulator to predator simulator really quick. Then yeah, so I'll select one of the ones that appears to be by themselves.
Alright. So, since it's a woman, you're the one who's in charge of, seducing her.
Then, let me just remind myself. Level 2 of presence, that's the one where I can... well, that's the red case, fuck.
I'm about to, yes, use level 2 of presence.
Right then.
Coming with me.
And then, hello there, and she completely freezes in terror. Wait, fuck.
I mean, she's frozen.
Yes?
Not
No, I'll go over and talk to her while using my level 1 presence to exude an aura of confidence, maybe?
Okay.
That'll be good.
Alright. Give me a charisma plus performance.
That's 6. I believe I have a specialty in this. I haven't written down specialties, actually. I should do that.
Alright.
Not right now, just saying I'm going to.
Yeah, before the first real session.
Yeah.
Alright. So yeah, as you're talking with her, she seems kind of interested. And, when you say that you should, maybe head off into sort of a darkened corner for a little while, she readily assents.
Beautiful. Right then.
Alright. So the same basic thing plays out. You take her into, one of the bathrooms, and the three of you feed off of her. And then Alicia stays behind to basically dominate her, make sure that her memories are properly altered and everything.
Wonderful.
And, yeah, so after that, Alicia comes out and says, there's some other clubs we could try if, there's no one else here. And as you look around, there doesn't seem to be anyone else really interesting that's by themselves.
Very well then, off we go.
Alright. So
What time is it right now?
It is still fairly early in the evening. It's kind of, I guess it's a little bit later. It's like kind of 10 or 11.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll eventually want to get back home and begin working on my book.
Alright.
That's enough socialization for one day.
Alright. So you head out and The girls seem to want to go to try out one of the strip clubs, see who's there, and they kind of drag you along for a little bit. You start building up your case for, oh, I'm tired, I have to get home.
Yeah.
Gotta do that writing that I do.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And as you guys are walking along, you see a rather odd fellow. And
Odd how?
he looks a little bit special needs-ish.
Okay.
And
Let's stay away from him.
wow, just overflowing with compassion here.
Yes.
So as he kind of starts to approach you guys, and as he does so, Alicia says, "Oh, that's Michael."
A pleasure to make your acquaintance, Michael. I'm Jonathan.
All right, so he kind of looks at you, and then just kind of points at himself and says, "Michael."
Yes, I heard as much.
And she kind of, Alicia kind of says, he's we believe he's from Clan Malkavian. He seems to be,
very well.
yeah. It's unfortunate, but he's, he has a very good heart, and she kind of pats him on the arm, and he smiles at her.
Right.
Are you, looking for someone, Michael? And then Michael just kind of nods. And then she says, well, you can, we'll find someone. Why don't you stay out here with Jonathan? And then the two girls go inside the strip club, leaving you with Michael. So
All right then.
he he looks at you and he points at himself and says, Michael, and then he points at you.
Jonathan.
Alright. So he kind of nods. And then he seems to just kind of be looking at you.
All right then.
Ask him who he's looking for.
Who are you looking for?
He says, food.
Ah. Well, wait here for a bit. I'm sure the women will find someone.
Yeah, he kind of nods. And he just he keeps looking at you very intently. It's a little bit disconcerting.
Right.
And after a little while, the girls come back with someone who is, he looks really glazed over. He looks like he's been thoroughly dominated.
All right.
And so,
Welcome back.
yeah, so they say, oh, have you two been getting along together?
Yes, I'd say so.
Alright. So, basically, Lucy stays with you, and then Alicia takes Michael off into kind of one of the back alleys where they won't be observed, for him to feed. Then, after a little while, they come back, and they say, well,
Right.
Lucy's like, well, I'm getting kind of tired. Maybe we should, call it a night.
Right. Sure thing. Though, are we certain that this Michael person will be satisfied with just 1 or 2 points of blood? Or vitae, rather?
Alicia kind of looks quizzically at him, and then he kind of makes a motion like he kind of rubs his stomach. And then Alicia's like, well, I'll stay here with him, and I'll catch a taxi back. You two can head back to... you two can head back to the Haven.
Much obliged, thank you.
Alright. And so, yeah, as you're walking away, Michael just keeps looking at you until you're out of sight.
Does my sire notice this as well?
No, she's not really watching him, though. She's thinking about other things.
In that case, I'll point out to her. This Michael fellow appears to be quite interested in me for reasons I don't know.
Well, she just she thinks about it for a second, then she tries to just kind of laugh it off. She says, oh, it must be because you're so handsome.
Why, thank you. In character, of course, I know that's not the reason.
Alright.
I'll accept the compliment.
And as you are nearly back to the car, you feel a weird premonition. you sometimes get, ever since you've kind of developed Auspex a little bit, you get kind of weird feelings sometimes. And this is one of those times. It's almost like a sixth sense sort of thing. You feel like something is wrong.
Huh. I look around with enhanced senses to see if I can spot anyone or anything wrong.
Give me a perception plus alertness.
That's 4 with Auspex active.
Okay. Okay.
I'll just double pop out on this.
Alright, in that case, you do spot there seems to be another man, and he's also watching you. He's in a car a little ways down from you, and he's got, it looks like some kind of notepad that he's writing on.
Uh-huh. Well, has he noticed that I've noticed him?
Why don't you give me a manipulation plus subterfuge.
Right, that's a staggering 2.
Alright.
So he probably noticed.
You don't think that he did, no.
I don't think he did.
No, it's, in your opinion, he probably has not noticed you.
Okay. Well then. I'll check the car real quick to make sure it's alright before heading into it.
Alright. What is... This'll be good. What is your perception plus crafts?
2.
Wow, this is... I won't tell you exactly what I rolled these past 2 turns, because, you know, I try to keep it a little bit role-playing.
Yeah.
But I will say that they were both 2 dice, and they were both exactly the opposite.
Oh.
You don't find anything on the car, either.
I'll sort of cautiously ask my sire, do you also feel as though something is off right now?
She's thinks about it, and she says, no, I don't think so. Although, from what you know of your sire, she does not really have any skills with Auspex at all. She's mostly developed her presence and her
Well, she would probably have 1 point.
Not that you know of, actually.
Then how can I have it?
You just learned it from some of the other, like, Toreador that you've met, you know.
Huh.
Obviously, she has the potential to learn it, because it's an in-clan discipline, but...
Right.
You did not pick it up from her.
Huh, how odd. Well, shall we be off then?
Alright, so she gets into the car,
Yeah.
and you turn the key, and nothing explodes.
That's good.
And, yeah, you're able to drive back to your haven.
Alright then.
You notice that, when you kind of check the rear view mirror, though, you notice that the guy who was watching you before, he is no longer there.
Okay. Is he anywhere else?
Alright. Why don't you give me another perception plus alertness to see if you...
It's still 4.
Alright. Yeah, so it looks like you do see the guy again. With your heightened senses, you spot him, but he's behind the wheel of a different car.
Then I'll point this out to my sire. That man over there in that car. He was staring at us for a while outside.
So she kind of thinks about it and says, maybe you shouldn't let him follow us back to the haven.
What do you suggest then?
She kind of grabs your sleeve and says, lose him.
Alright then. Then I'll attempt to do so.
Dexterity plus drive.
Right then. That's 5, spending a willpower point and a blood point.
All right. All right. So you shift all the way into third gear. Tear
Oh
ass.
shit! We
actually,
might reach 60 miles per hour.
we're approaching the speed limit.
Oh no!
His. Actually, you do manage. You keep him in sight. Your sire helps you on that count, and you actually do manage to. You see that there is a yellow light up ahead, and you basically slam down on the gas, playing it cool up until that point, and just rocket through right as it turns red. And he does get stuck behind it.
Okay. I'll make sure he doesn't appear in my rear view again.
Okay. Yeah, he does not show up again, and yeah, you're able to get back to your haven safely.
Okay, can I park the car in a way that it's not obvious you can see it from the road?
Yes, you do have like a garage that you can basically close the door on.
Okay, I'll do that.
Alright. So yeah, you get back inside, and, you know, Lucy now seems kind of genuinely concerned, and she's like, you know, who do you think that was?
I have no idea. I don't recognize him. Maybe someone Alicia would know?
We should be careful, she says.
Right, I agree.
And, yeah, so... basically, Alicia gets back a little while later, and she definitely doesn't know, but she is very concerned that there was someone following you. She's never heard of anyone like this in the city, so she says everyone should be extra cautious when they're out.
Right. I'll also give them a description of what the guy looked like.
Yeah. So, Alicia...
Did I get the number plate? Did I get the plate on his car?
You didn't specifically say that you were writing it down, so no.
Damn it. Can I make a roll for it to see if I remember it?
Yeah, sure. Why don't you give me just a straight intelligence?
4.
Alright. So, you remember, you're pretty sure what the first 2 numbers were, but that's it.
Okay. Well, I'll tell him that.
Alright. And Alicia's actually a little bit of an artist, so based on your description, she kind of does a little bit of a sketch of him. And,
Perfect.
she says that she'll talk to Modius about it.
Thank you.
And with nothing else, that is pretty much the end of the Prelude.
Wonderful.
You're still alive.
Glad to know that.
So this is probably where we will stop the recording for now, but just to let everyone know, we are streaming these Vampire the Masquerade games every Sunday, starting at 11 o'clock in the morning, Pacific Standard Time. David, what time is it, GMT? You're there? Nah, he's not. Alright, Miles, what is it, whatever your time zone is?
For me, currently, it's 11. We usually start at 8.
Okay. 8 p.m.?
Yeah.
Whatever Danish time, whatever the hell that is.
I believe it's GMT plus 1. Hang on.
GMT plus 1, yep.
Alright. So,
GMT plus 1, currently...
So, 7-8 GMT and GMT plus 1 then?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And, Stallworth, what time is it Central?
1 p.m. I believe it was.
Yeah, it's 1 p.m.
Alright. So, those are the times that we know off the top of our heads. On Sundays. So, anyone watching this on the video on demand is free to join us. Hang out in the chat. And, yeah. Alright, so that is pretty much it. So we will see you guys later.
Right then. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.